lane.
Absolutely. We'll be loading in here any second now. All right, we are there. We're on the rift. We're there. We're finally in. We see how this crazy team comp by TDK is going to play out.
I'm
Looks
really
like-
hoping for some cheesy plays here. There's a lot of CC on both teams.
Oh yeah, definitely. But looks like we're not going to get any scary invades from the start. It's just going to be everybody fanning out, doing line of scrimmage. TDK is leaving a bit of an opening there, though, for Sejuani, if Sejuani wants to go in. But it looks like she's just going to, keep her distance, not risk it. Pretty standard line of scrimmage start for both sides. Paid by Steve is leaving a bit of an opening for Jarvan if he wants to go in by the pixel bush, but again, he's also keeping his distance as well. But worth spotting on the VOD if the teams want to take a look and notice that little opening they're leaving for the other team.
How come it's never caught a ninja? If light travels so fast, how come it's never caught a ninja?
I'm really curious to see what Infinite Blade's path is going to be. The way Shank Clear works versus that Sejuani. Sejuani has more AoE to clear faster.
Absolutely. I mean, Shen can prevent a lot of damage done to him, but so he's got safer clears than Sejuani from my perspective, but at the same time, again, his clear speed is also just going to be really slow. Pantheon doing a good job already getting poked down onto the Silas. Tiny skirmish going down in bot lane with Jinx doing a lot of damage to the Sivir. Takes her down to almost half health.
That's a really good trade and it's very important because Sivir doesn't have the sustain that Eclipse has there with that Nami.
Oh, Sivir doesn't have her spell shield up. Nami goes for the bubble. Excellent awareness.
That was perfect by Dandelion Knights there. That's going to relieve so much pressure that the Sivir should have been doing from the start.
Morgana gets a good snare. Taisa doing work on that Morgana. But, Sivir can't really risk following up. She's too low health right now. They have to give it a little time. They have to let her regen some of that health. A lot of trading going on all around the map, actually. So Jinx is already at an 8 CS lead because of all these trades they're doing down in bot. Sivir could easily make that up, of course, but she's got to be feeling at least a little bit afraid right now with where things are standing. Jinx gets her little laser beam off, but still not gonna kill Sivir here. Ooh, Morgana gets a really good bind down in bot lane. Sivir deals a lot of damage with Q. However, it's still no kills down in bot lane. It's exciting for sure, but nobody's dying yet. We do have some flashes down in bot lane. Morgana flashed for that. So that's one advantage on the side of TDK there.
So that's both summoners from the Morgana there. She had to use her exhaust earlier in the lane to save Slattery there.
Man, that Sivir's really risking it with that low health. I mean, if the Nami and the Jinx both flash in and get a hit or two, she's dead. She's got to be real careful. If she stays until she hits level 6 and she stays at low health the whole time, Jinx can easily win with her ultimate. And we have an engagement in mid lane. Sejuani gets the gets the stun off on the Jarvan. Can they finish him off? They do. Kill goes over to Jace, and now we have another engagement up in top lane. Pantheon holds him off, though. Silas doesn't get the kill. Gets a lot of damage off.
I don't know if that was bad back timing from the Wookiee warrior there, but now he's stuck in a really awkward position there.
Down in bot lane, Jinx has a 10 CS lead, which, you know, might not seem like much on paper, but it does matter. It means that she can get her BF sword before Sivir can get hers. But then again, Sivir might be going for an Essence Reaver for her first item. We'll have to wait and find out. So Sejuani came down. Sejuani came down to help out while the Morgana recalled, which is smart. That's good team play. That's good communication and coordination. But this is preventing Sejuani from getting any jungle clear. And Shen has this opportunity to get ahead.
Shen is ahead by 1 CS there, but there is an XP difference there. Sejuani is up by a level.
There we go. Yeah, it's... I mean, I'm going to question the Shen jungle pick, but obviously they picked it for a reason. They trust that it's going to work. Skirmish up in top lane here. Pantheon tries to engage on the Sylas. Sylas might be making him pay for it. Ooh! Pantheon flashes away, barely surviving, but the Sylas is also barely surviving right now. One hit from either of them could finish the other one off. In mid lane, Jarvan engages on the Jace. Jarvan, oh no! Jace ends up with the win, but he also dies. Was it the minion damage that killed him? Or was it the ignite? It's a little bit of both, probably.
Wookiee warrior got that kill topside.
Yeah, I guess the kill on Ansem. It's a close fight top lane. And if anyone's ever seen Ansem play in a game, you know Ansem likes to be aggressive. He likes going for fights. He smells blood. He wants it. And he could have gotten the kill. It could have been a fair trade. Both of them could have died, but Pantheon ends up barely surviving it.
One thing we have to look up in that top lane, Ansem is running teleport while Pantheon is running the ignite. Technically speaking, Pantheon has more kill pressure than Ansem will have.
That's true. I actually did not notice that. I assumed that Pantheon had teleport. I should have paid closer attention to the summoner spells.
I'm going to assume that was just one of the reasons why they picked up the Pantheon. He doesn't need the teleport with his ultimate.
We see that Taisa tries to engage with Morgana's Q. Oh, Sejuani misses her ultimate. Jinx had a really nice flash, but it doesn't matter. She gets caught, and that's a dead Jinx. Excellent teamwork there paid by Steve. They try to keep pushing it. They probably want to get some tower plates there in bot lane, but they don't quite have the ability to kill the Nami. They'll do a lot of damage, but they're not going to get that kill. Ansem tries engaging on Pantheon again. Will Sylas have the damage to do it? It's always so close. They match each other so well damage-wise. And now Pantheon doesn't have the Ignite to help him out. Maybe Ansem is aware of this. Maybe Ansem understands that he can win this now.
I want to note real fast on that bottom lane fight that they just had. They was really smart. I don't know
Shen
if it was
uses his ultimate to come in, and is this going to finish off Sylas? He gets the taunt! Sylas is dead. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I had to call that out.
Oh, perfectly fine, perfectly fine.
Oh, we have another fight in mid lane. Oh, but Jace! Jace, you knock him out of his own ultimate. He was trapped there. You're going to finish him off.
I honestly think that was better for Ziggy there. He was a little low on mana, and once he goes into hammer form, he doesn't have any cooldowns to use.
Jarvan's afraid now. He's down in health. He doesn't have the range. If Ziggy pokes, he can finish Jarvan off. Oh, Jarvan sees his chance for an invade. Pantheon's coming in with his ultimate. Is he going to get him? Will Jace escape? No, Jace does not escape. He gives the kill over to Pantheon. He was trying to go to tower there to give it to Jace. He would rather have Jace get that kill than... I'm sure I spoke about something there. Whatever. We'll move on. Getting another trade down in bot lane. Now, Paid by Steve is actually starting to come out ahead in these trades. They're picking really good moments. Oh, the snare lands on the Jinx. Is it going to be enough? It is enough damage. Jinx did not have flash to escape. She did not have heal. She was just stuck and had to take it. Meanwhile, in mid lane, we have another excellent engage Paid by Steve. They're trying to take the Pantheon out, but it's just too much to deal with. TDK comes in. Morgana tries to peel with the snare, but the excellent reach there by Jarvan's Q is able to finish the Sejuani off.
If I'm not mistaken, during that fight, Ansem had Shen ultimate and tried to get into that fight, but in doing so, he did die.
That's a good observation. I saw Shen's ultimate coming in, but I couldn't tell which champion it was on because they were all kind of bunched together. TDK tries to do a bit of an engage or tower dive down in bot lane, but it doesn't really come of anything. They have to back off. Fight breaks out in mid lane between Silas and the Jarvan. Silas looks like he has the advantage here, but he flashes away. He's a little bit too afraid of the Jarvan there.
I feel that was a little bit too much respect onto that Jarvan. I believe he really did have the damage. Jarvan cooldowns are pretty large, and once that ultimate is down, that is a large portion of his damage.
That's true. Then again, Silas doesn't really have any items. He just has the Ninja Tabby, so that could have been the reason for him to be afraid to flash out. Sejuani ends up getting the Scuttlebug and runs away. No big deal there. So let's take a look at where teams stand right now. The gold difference is 1,000, not quite 1,000, about 600 in favor of Paid by Steve. They're ahead in gold. They're down in kills and neutral objectives, but they're ahead in gold right now. And that's mainly due to the CS differences. If you check it out, Silas is ahead of the Pantheon in CS, so that gives a little extra gold that way. But then again, Pantheon does have a lot of kills. The main gold difference is in mid lane, actually. Jace has more kills and more CS than Jarvan, and that's really helping them stay in the game. And Morgana uses her ultimate here. Oh, but it gets protected there. Shen ults in. Is Shen going to get the taunt off on Sivir? Doesn't end up mattering because of the super mega death rocket. Oh, Shen goes in under tower, gets another taunt. Can they finish off the Morgana? They do. Oh, Nami dies, but it's only an execution. Nobody gets credit for that on the side of Paid by Steve. And this looks like it's a dead tower. Jinx should be able to finish this off. Oh, unless Jay shows up to ruin her day. This could be a dead Shen as well. There it goes, dead Shen. Wow, excellent play by Ziggy with the Jace. Wonderful double kill. Excellent map awareness.
I don't know if they were not respecting the Jace damage on Ziggy there, or if they just didn't care and really wanted that tower.
Well, they didn't really have any vision to see him coming. Once he was in bush, it was already too late by that point. So Jace gets the bot tower. 2 towers in favor of Paid by Steve, and now Jarvan. Oh, Ziggy barely dies. The Morgana looks like she might die, but she actually escapes. Or sorry, the Yeah. Sivir gets a kill in mid lane, and they don't lose anybody for it. They end up taking another tower. It's now 3 towers to 0, but the Nami wants revenge. The Nami smells blood. She wants a kill. They're trying to chase Sejuani. Jinx even tries to get a super mega death rocket, but it doesn't work. Sejuani looks like she's just going to end up taking this. Yeah, she gave up. She knew she was dead. Jarvan wants a piece of the Sivir in mid lane, but goes too hard. Takes a turret shot. And Paid by Steve has the advantage in this game. They now have 3 towers. Gives them some extra gold. And their team is actually starting to stabilize at this point. Jace really pumping out damage, and Sivir's got her first item completed with that Essence Reaver already. So they're able to match what TDK has and what TDK is pumping out. Granted, TDK does have that Mountain Drake that is going to help them take objectives faster. And as I speak about objectives, we have Pantheon up in top, taking the tower, dealing damage. He's not going to be able to finish it off. Sylas is coming there to defend it.
I'm curious to see how TDK is going to start building. They can start switching off that Jarvan from a damage threat into a more tanky frontliner. It is still there for them. But I honestly do think they need to start slowing this game down a little bit and start playing towards the Jinx carry.
Absolutely. And let's keep in mind, Sylas has stolen Jinx's ultimate. He has the Superman Death Rocket. He can affect team fights even if he's not there.
The saving grace on that is it has AD ratio with no AP ratios.
What an engage by the Sivir, calling it with their ultimate. They go in, but they trade deaths here. Jinx is dead, Morgana is dead. Sivir now finally dies. It is a bloodbath. It is a massacre. But Paid by Steve comes out on top with an ace. Well played by Paid by Steve. That was a really good call. They take Ocean Drake, and that's just going to help them stay in these fights, stay in this game longer. If they take damage in lane, they can always back off, disengage, and heal up again.
I think Paid by Steve actually did that with a 4v5. Ansem was barely walking towards that dragon pit as that fight went down.
Absolutely. He used the Super Mega Death Rocket from way down river. Yeah, he wasn't even there for the fight. So that was just excellent coordination, excellent job by Paid by Steve. Granted, the Jace has a lot of damage right now. Jace was the main reason why they won that fight.
100% agree with you on that. He has 8 kills right now. The way Jace needs to work right now, he needs to keep snowballing his lead. He will fall off if they cannot end this game soon. Well, not soon, but early.
Yeah. Sivir able to keep up, able to keep pace with Jinx. That's very important too. As long as Sivir continues to be a threat, Jinx will not be able to completely take over the game. Jace finally has 2 items. He's got the Duskblade and the Ghostblade. And he also built a Last Whisper. He feels like he needs that to help kill Shen and Pantheon faster. Both teams trying to fight each other here. Shen using his ultimate to try to protect Sivir. Does it work? Yes, Sivir ends up getting a kill. She stays safe from the Jarvan, but Jinx gets a double kill. Jace gets a kill on Shen. It's just constant fighting over here right now. Jinx got excited. She's dealing damage. Jace is trying to turn it around. Can he live? Will the Jinx get a kill? Oh, Morgana might get this. Come on, Morgana, put the pool down. No! Jinx finishes everybody off, gets an ace. She's the last one standing. Wow, what an explosive fight.
That was perfect positioning by Eclipse there. He was just over that wall, using his rockets to get that damage in, and Paid by Steve just could not get a hand on her.
Try as they might. Jinx just ends up winning. Sivir takes too much damage in the beginning of that fight. Even with Shen using his ultimate to try to save her, she still only needed one hit on her to kill her after Shen's ult was finished. Jarvan did the right thing. He gave his life for it, but because of him, they were able to take Sivir down.
I agree with you there, but I still do not agree on Otiagro here going full damage. He is behind. I think he should be going more towards the tanky side. I think if he goes for that front line, he is still a slight damage threat towards the Morgana and the Sivir.
Shen and Jarvan are trying to fight Sylas up here in top lane. Sylas went a little too deep on that fight, and he might pay for it here. If Shen gets another taunt, he's dead. Oh, but Jarvan comes in with his ultimate. And now they have to leave. They got to be real careful because the rest of the team is coming up to fight and avenge Anson's death. But they're able to get that disengaged. They're able to get away. Sivir does not have her ultimate, so they were not able to chase them down there once they got there. And now they're waiting in the bush. They're hoping that they come to the tri-bush to check it out, but that's not the case. Instead, they're setting up wards around Baron. And TDK is going to come down to try to fight them. But it looks like it's just going to be a disengage and taking out wards. Oh, they get a really good engage, though, on the Sejuani. Sejuani gets the black shield put on her to try to save her. Sejuani gets a kill on the Jarvan. Sivir's pumping out some damage. Jinx fires Super Mega Death Rocket. Is this a dead Nami up here? Can the Sejuani finish her off? No, Sejuani cannot. But Sylas took Nami's ultimate, uses it against her to get that kill. That's 3 kills for Paid by Steve. They're choosing to start Baron. I would agree with this call. They kind of have to at this point. They have a numbers advantage. It's 5v2, but they got to take it down fast. Pantheon might not have his ult. Jinx might not have her ult, but if they get there in time, they could still try to steal it with something. But it looks like they're not going to get there in time.
That earlier fight, they needed to go in sooner. The Dandelion Knights had the number advantage. They knew Sylas was dead, and they knew that that Jace was in the bot side during that time. They should have gone in sooner, and they would have won that.
So TDK gets a consolation prize. They get an Ocean Drake. So, they got something. But obviously, all those deaths and losing Baron do not do them any favors. And Paid by Steve is happy to just run it down mid with Baron minions. They're happy to siege this tower with that cannon and hopefully take it out here. Jace firing out some damage, really of TDK. And the siege works. They Paid by Steve ends up taking mid tower. Sejuani fires the ultimate, dives in. Sivir also fires her Q. Does massive damage against Jarvan. And now TDK can't defend this anymore. They used a lot of their abilities here, and they lost their Jarvan. That's a lot of their engages down. Pantheon wants to ult in, but at the same time, they're losing members of their team while that's happening. Jace doing work, jumping in. Can he take the Jinx down? Will the Jinx die? She does. That's an ace. And this could be Paid by Steve ending the game. They could do it right here. Wow, what a game. Jarvan comes back, but will he be able to do anything? No, Jarvan dies right away, gives his life. But Paid by Steve wins the game. Well done, Paid by Steve. Way to take that first game loss. Way to learn from your mistakes and come back and take game 2. That is a 1-1 series. Both teams winning a game tonight. Let's check this out. That might be the first 1-1 series. I'm going to go ahead and look at our league standings just to see quick if that's accurate. So let's take a look at that real quick before we look at the damage numbers. Let's take a look at that. It is not the first 1-1 series of the league. We have a few other teams that have had 1-1 matchups. Still, there haven't been many of those. So that is still something really interesting here. Most of the games that we have seen, a team has gone 2-0. But it's a sign of real mental strength and real teamwork if a team can come back from that first game loss and win the second game. So really well done by Paid by Steve. Let's take a look at the graphs here. Let's look at the damage graph because that's my favorite thing to do once a game is over. So yeah, as was evident by the KDA of Jace and Ziggy, just being the big boss of damage in this game with 22,000 damage for this 24-minute long battle.
Paid by Steve played that comp extremely well. They abused their early game advantages there. Ziggy on Jace just completely snowballed and ran away with the game there. I still just do not agree with the Dandelion Knights pick here. With that Shen, they had zero pressure in that early game, and he was only going to do anything into that late game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I get the logic. I get the logic behind it for sure. But I just don't know because they needed to do something different with that team comp. Jarvan did not build any tank items, and they almost needed Jarvan to do that because the Jarvan has to help protect the Jinx and keep her alive. The Jarvan, while he needs to do engages with his ultimate to help his team win, he also needs to do just as much work on disengaging as well. He can't just be all in, all damage, or he's going to die every single time.
The Dandelion Knights had an interesting comp. I think it could have worked. But again, like you just said right now, I think they should have started going towards more on the tanky side. Jarvan and Pantheon can also go tanky. They have the base damages. Pantheon's passive with that crit, and Jarvan's straight up ability just to pop someone is always there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. All right. Well, to end the stream tonight, we're actually going to do a post-game interview because both teams won a game. We're going to do an interview with one player from each team. We're going to start with a player from Dandelion Knights because they won the first game. So we'll get that started here in just a little bit by bringing somebody in.
Streamer 1.
So as soon as we get a player from TDK, we will get this going. TDK, who do you want? Send somebody over. All right. So actually we get Tysa in here right now. Tysa, you don't play for TDK. You play for Paid by Steve.
Oh, wait. Y'all still fuck.
No. I was hoping to interview
Awkward moment.
TDK first. It's fine. We'll do you first. You're here. Let's just go. Let's do you.
Oh. Okay.
So what was your team's mindset going into that second game? I mean, you lost that first game. I mean, what did you guys talk about between games so that you were ready to do this come from behind victory in game 2 and tie the series up?
Honestly, it was just pretty crazy. Like after we lost the first game, we were just like, we're reset. Another game, 0-0. So we just treated it as if it was just 0-0. And we were trying to like give each other like really small pep talks, like just to really reset our mindset. And I thought that was really cool. That's what I really like about this team that I'm in right now.
Oh yeah, that's a really effective way to actually get your heads back in a good place for game number 2. I mean, there were a lot of good things to take away from the game. There were a lot of, positives for you guys to take out of it. Sure, you lost, but there's still a lot that you could look back on with pride.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Next question then. Um, what did you think of their team comp in that second game? I mean, like, were you like worried about it after putting every champion they picked? What did you think about that at level 1?
At level 1, let me remember everyone. Okay, so we didn't really worry about. We knew they were gonna play Chinks, and we didn't really worry about like their pig. Like no one was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like we're actually gonna like just get screwed or wrecked or anything. You're just like, "Oh hey, this is their game plan, and this is our game plan. This is what we're gonna do to stop it," kind of thing. But honestly, it is a really strong. That looks like a really scary comp at level 6, especially. But Ziggy was just he was carrying the crap out of us like early game. Like it was
Yeah,
just crazy.
yeah. Ziggy was a monster on that Jace. Honestly, was Jace banned in game 1?
He was not, and it was
Okay.
crazy because we just. I mean, this is kind of giving people some notes, but we were talking about Jace mid. He kept piping like Ziggy kept piping up Jace mid for a while, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just go Jace mid. like,
Yeah, I mean,
and then,
why not? It clearly worked today.
and
I
then
don't, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I was really impressed by a lot of the plays that you guys were making. I mean,
Oh,
obviously the Jace made some good decisions and head, but the rest of you did a really good job working around what you had, especially Siver's ultimate, Sejuani's ultimate. Putting things down where they needed to be to set you guys up for success.
yeah, like both. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but like a lot of the shot callers we have on the team, they're like just kind of like just do it. Like if we're right here. They don't know anything. Just go. And like people actually just go as soon as the call made, and it's pretty crazy. Like Ziggy was because you saw it. He was like chilling in their jungle before Dragon started, and it was like I think that was the game changing play, like that one in particular. Because as soon as the fight started, everyone was focusing on everyone else as Ziggy was just flanking and just blasted all of them and got a triple. It was pretty sick.
Yeah, I would say that probably was the game changing play. I mean, Ansem wasn't even there. He fired Jinx Mega Death Rocket because that was the ultimate he stole. He fires it from way downriver. He's not even there to help out for the fight, but you guys still end up winning it and get an ace out of it nonetheless. I mean, it
Yeah,
just really well coordinated there.
it also helps that I guess this like Slattery has the alt go button.
Yeah. No, it's always good to have at least one go button that you guys can get behind. But yeah, and just to also go with your point about everybody just following plays and shots and all that. I forget the name of the pro player or coach that I heard this from the first time, but it was some interview years ago where they said that if your team, even if a bad call is being made and you think it's a bad call, as long as all of you still commit to it and go with that call, it still gives you a higher percentage of succeeding in that play than if you don't all go in with it.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy because they I mean I'm kind of like new. Like all of the players pretty much know each other in a way. Like I don't know how much team experience they have, but that synergy to make those calls and like I'm not trying to toot my teammates' hordes, but I really like how they just have the synergy. They have it.
Yeah, I mean, and that counts for a lot. It really does. Hi, Ayers, do you have any questions for Tysa before we let him for the night?
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Mm, what
Nah.
was your play calling in that early game? Because you guys played that extremely fast. Were you expecting to go end that game before 25 minutes?
For the first game or
Game
the
two.
second? So game two, the early game shot calling in terms of can you give me a frame of reference like what made you
Like
think about that?
who was in charge of the early game play calling for the most part? Was it Ziggy? Was it you, the support? Usually supports are play callers.
I just kind of talked about the map more so and said, "Oh, hey, I got this cooldown." But I really feel like majority of the team just communicates. Like it does. We don't have a single shot caller per se, but early in on, I was like, hey, like Anthony, you probably need to was his weapon, or hey, you need to focus on mid, and that's what he did. Like it's kind of weird. Everyone kind of says stuff. It's not just one person. I feel,
Alrighty.
but I might have to think more about that. But I really don't think it's one person making calls.
That's perfectly fine. That's a good answer to me.
All right, Tyso. Well, thank you so much for coming to this interview. We look forward to watching a lot more and seeing, any future success or failures in these future matchups. You guys are always fun to watch, even if you lose. So,
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that.
all right. Well, let's see here. Let's see if we can get an interview from a TDK player quick before we end the stream tonight.
Thank y'all for your time.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for the games. It was a pleasure to cast.
All right, bye bye.
All right, TDK, if you are watching the stream, if you want to send somebody, oh, cool. There's the Wookiee Warrior. All right.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I was wondering if we were going to hear that.
Well, name checks out.
Yep.
We're good now. All right, Wookiee. So I have to ask about your team comp for game 2. I have to.
It was a lot of a mix of sort of the comfort picks with sort of we wanted a team fight comp that can get going really early and try to like snowball from there.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I can see that. I can see that with the picks
But
that you had.
once the Jace sort of got going, we had to try to control it. And when you're in a controlling position with that team comp, it's just down the hill from there.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we pointed out during the stream is that we noticed that Jarvan was not building any tank items, and like, was that the game plan from the start, or was that kind of a decision that player made as the game went on?
Normally, when we do the job in mid, we try to use it to assassinate the ADC or the mid laner. When it can get going, we can normally just assassinate someone straight away and then go for the team fight after. But like in that game, once you're behind, you're just completely behind.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to question. Well, not question. I don't want to make it seem like I look down on it or anything. But why did you go with Shen in the jungle? Just because it was a comfort pick, and you wanted Shen to be there to back up anybody if they're in danger, or?
Well, we feel really confident in Infinite Shen. Like we really trust in him to make his plays, and it's one that he says he doesn't like, but he's just really good on. So we feel confident when it comes to sort of like having him protect us with his ults, and then we can try to make these aggressive plays because we're a very aggressive style team.
I did notice that you do have that aggressive style for sure. I mean, both games you played very aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so going into that second game, I just want to, because you won that first game, and so like, what was your game plan going into game 2? Did you really want to change that team comp up before it even got to the picks and bans, or did you wait to see what they banned before you decided to do that crazy team comp you went with?
We were already having in mind our team comp when we were going into the picks. We just wanted to see what they sort of banned out, and maybe if it was a more tank heavy comp they had, we had a different plan in mind. But it was like a very squishy one besides Sedge, so we felt confident that we could try to win the early game and just go from there.
All right. Well, I mean, that's awesome. I'm good with questions. Hyeras, do you have questions before we let Wookiee Warrior go?
No, I'm good. You asked exactly what I wanted to know with that Shen question.
Yeah, I mean, a very interesting team comp. I mean, I can see why you picked it. I can see how it would have worked, but that Jace just got really out of hand, and just ended up doing way too much damage to all of you guys.
Yeah, I think a big thing with our style is if we're very like aggressive shot callers. Like we know we can outdo most people in fights, but I feel like where we struggle with as a team and what we're actually just really working hard on together is just our like team fights and just communication overall.
Yeah, I mean, every single team in the league, if you work on your communication and your coordination, that's going to do a lot of good for you. So I mean, that's exactly what everybody should be working on, really. Anyway, thank you so much for doing this post game interview, Wookiee Warrior. Congratulations on your win tonight. And good luck in all future games.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as
too.
well. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight for 2 series of games. Look forward to more streams in the future. We have some exciting matches coming up later this week, so just stay tuned for some more games and more streams. It's been a pleasure tonight. I've had a great time.